It was back on Friday, June 8th, that our friend Dominic Liberon left Eastend, Saskatchewan on his way to New Orleans. You've heard his story. We've had the opportunity to share it with him. He is taking this journey in a canoe in honor of his Uncle Mitch. Here on Saskatchewan Weekend, we have caught up with Dom through the courtesy of cell phones. Dom, where do we find you this morning? Where are you?
I'm in North Dakota on the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation.
And do you know how far you've traveled since you left Eastend on June 8th? Do you know how many kilometers you've gone?
You know, it's tough to say because I could measure it on my GPS as the crow flies, but it wouldn't be anywhere near an accurate indication because in some cases, for every mile that you do as the crow flies, you've actually done 4 along the river because of the twists and turns.
Oh. When you're mapping out your trip, are you anywhere near now where you thought you would be, or have you mapped it that detailed?
Well, I didn't give myself an estimated arrival date because there are so many variables like the weather and needing to get supplies and stuff like that. But I'm within where I want to be. I'd like to be in Pierre, South Dakota, towards the end of the month, beginning of September, and then I'd be pretty much where I want to be.
Okay, how has the trip been so far since that first moment when you put the canoe in the water? You and I have been texting throughout the course of it. We've been following you on Facebook. You can also follow Dom online at canoe2neworleans.com. But speaking with you now, how has the trip been so far?
Well, it's been something of a blur. I can't believe that it's already been 2 months. It's been 2 months and just a couple days since I left Eastend, and I can't believe how quickly the time has gone.
Has the trip gone for you the way that you've wanted it to? Has it been, as they say, smooth sailing most of the trip?
For the most part. Right now I'm on Lake Saskatchewan, and the headwinds have been very challenging, and it's definitely slowed me down. But I've got wise to Lake Saskatchewan's tricks. I know what she's up to. Usually it's calm in the morning, but then by the middle of the afternoon the wind gets quite intense. So I'm going to have to change my game plan and go very hard early in the morning till about the middle of the afternoon, and then reevaluate from there and see if it's worth continuing or maybe waiting for a couple hours for the wind to die down and then get in another couple hours, basically as the sun is going down, because the wind tends to die at that point.
Have you been traveling during the daylight hours, or have you been traveling at night? Well, what is your usual trek? When I know when I'm traveling, I usually travel during daylight hours, but then at night I'll shut it down because I don't want to miss anything. What have you been traveling? What have you been doing?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing also. I don't want to go too much later past sunset because I don't know the area that well, and I don't want to miss any good campsites. So usually the latest I'll go to is about 9 or 9:30, but I don't rule out the possibility of canoeing under the full moon if the winds have been really strong during the day and I need to make up time.
What has been the biggest surprise for you so far as you've been canoeing your way down to New Orleans?
Well, so far the biggest surprise has been the wind here in North Dakota. I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I didn't realize to what degree. For example, yesterday the wind was really strong and it took a lot of effort to paddle. And then at one point the wind died for a few minutes, and it felt like my paddle was a hot knife just cutting through butter. Like I had kind of forgotten how easy paddling had become. And, because the wind had made it so challenging, I didn't realize the extra effort that I was putting into it.
You're doing this trip in honor of your Uncle Mitch, mon oncle. Everybody knows mon oncle from Gravelbourg and area. And leading up to the trip, in conversations that we had, one of the things that you were imagining was that your Uncle Mitch, who is no longer with us, would be there in spirit in the canoe with you along your journey. Has he been there with you the way that you thought he would be?
You know, that's very eerie that you mentioned that, because I dreamt about him last night. And in the dream, we were sitting in his living room, and it was really nice to be able to see him in a dream. And it's not the same as obviously talking to him in person, but it was still nice to see him and to hear his voice again. And have something of a conversation with him.
You know, Mitch, as you've discussed, has made some decisions in his life that caused him to not live to be a great old man and the old man that we would have loved to see him become. You're doing this in honor of him, but also to help other people. Share that information and the reason that you're doing this in addition to honoring mon oncle.
Well, that's right. You know, like in the media and through family and friends, we all hear, you know, people that are aware that sometimes they make decisions that are hard on the health of their heart. And usually what happens is people look at it from their point of view, you know, like they know that maybe they should stop smoking or exercise more. And they tend to look at it as the damage that they're doing to themselves. And part of my message is to let people know that taking responsibility for your health also means that you're around to share your life with other people, and you're there to experience their joys and their sadnesses. And the other part of my message also is that the consequence of not taking care of your health is that you can leave behind people that will miss you for a very long time, and your absence will have a very profound influence on their life. And so it's not just about taking care of your health for you, it's also taking care of your health for those that love you.
Well said, well said. CanoeToNewOrleans.com is the website. You can sponsor and financially support Dominic on his trip and on his journey down there. Now, what are anybody who makes a donation today, what is that going for? Is that for food, for lodging? Anybody who sponsors you, what's that going for right now?
It goes to cover the costs of the trip. So in this case, my equipment is all bought and paid for, and it's food. And I don't quite have enough to finish the trip as it stands, so donations would definitely be very, very much appreciated. And then with that donation, I also get the person's email address, and then I can send them email updates when I get access to the internet, so they benefit from it as well. Any
regrets so far?
None so far. I wish that maybe I would have taken a bit more time to stretch, because my right hamstring has been bothering me a little bit from sitting so much in the canoe. But yesterday I had to go into Newtown to get groceries and had to walk a couple miles before someone picked me up to give me a ride into town and actually waited for me while I did groceries and then drove me back out to my canoe. So a big thank you goes to Tom Beeks of the 3 Affiliated Tribes. Very much appreciated. But wish I would have done a little bit more stretching in the early parts of the trip, and then that way my hamstring wouldn't be bothering me. But walking definitely made it feel better, so that'll be part of my plan for Canoe to New Orleans will be to walk more often, and I think that'll solve the problem.
Dominic Liboiron is on his way to New Orleans, a journey he is making in a canoe, yes, from Saskatchewan to New Orleans in honor of his Uncle Mitch. You can follow his progress online at CanoeToNewOrleans.com, and we will catch up with him from time to time. I could spend a lot more time talking with you, but I don't want to burn out your cell phone battery. So get back to it. Good luck with those headwinds, and we'll chat soon again. Good luck, Dom.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate your call.